everyone, welcome back to Good Morning Sri Lanka. Now we are here with a proud tradition that has been carried on in Sri Lanka cricket for a long time, and that's the work done by the Tamil Union Cricket Club. And I have with me two gentlemen who have been instrumental in the club, and Mr. Chandra Shafter as well as Mr. Suresh Murugesan. And we've been talking about the history of the club so far, but I think we should now come to what the current status of the club is. So Suresh, I think you have sort of idea about what's happening now and with the players especially?
Yes. Well, strangely enough, actually, over the past 3 years, the under-23 side has been doing exceptionally well. We are the only team that has actually won the under-23 inter-club tournament 3 years in a row. We were hoping to emulate that this year. We unfortunately have not had a very good start. We hope that
the tournament is ongoing, is it?
It's ongoing at the moment.
Okay.
We hope that we can sort of claw our way back, but it's going to be a tough ask.
And there are some players in the national team now as well, whom even I didn't know that they were part of the Tamil Union Cricket Club, but I think the name, there's a long list of names of all the players.
That's been quite a point with us over the last few years. Quite a few guys have been joining us. I'll name a few names. It's Dilshan plays for us, Rangana Herath, Chanaka Belagedera, we've got Kitruan Vitanage, Suranga Lakmal, Jeevan Mendes, and Ramit Rambukwala, and Shamin Deranga. So we've virtually got an entire side there.
Cricket team of Sri Lanka, I think.
Yeah, okay, they're not all playing at the same time for the Sri Lanka team, but so we have a pretty strong side. Having said that, unfortunately, most of them are away most of the time during the cricket season because they are touring abroad or playing international matches. And as a result, they don't get much of an opportunity to play for us, but when they are free, they do come and play. Yes.
And that's important, isn't it, for the players to come back and play for the club that gave them the start?
Exactly.
All right.
It's nice to have them in the dressing room.
And I'm sure that it helps a lot for the morale of the younger players.
It's a big difference. I mean, they are charged up because those guys have played at the highest level, and their whole outlook in the dressing room is quite different to a normal club side without them in the dressing room. So, and I've seen that it's a lot of more tension in the air, more sort of
they get everyone pumped up.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's important, isn't it?
Yes.
And again, international exposure is something I guess that's very important for young players as well. So if someone is playing in school and they have got some talent, what are the steps they can take to really develop that if they want to compete at a national level or a club level?
They can play in the under 19, under 23, then they have the A teams.
Okay.
They're all national level teams which play, which give an opportunity for up and coming players to do well and be picked for the national team.
Okay, and cricket is actually a sport that's given a lot of attention, isn't it, in Sri Lanka? So you have many youngsters. I'm sure that your talent pool is also quite vast. But what are the things you look out for in star players? What are the star qualities?
We like to think that all players should be treated equally.
No, of course, I'm not saying, I'm saying talent-wise.
I think basically, I mean, we don't really look. I mean, if they've been performing at a school level, and we have seen their results, then yes, we would welcome them. But at the same time, there are a lot of people who have not performed, who are also playing for us. I mean, they've managed to break their way into the team purely through dint of hard work. So,
it's really what kind of drive you have within you, isn't it?
It's your performance ultimately, how you fare in matches. So even if you haven't done well in school and if you still continue to play well thereafter, you get your chance to play in a match, and if you do well, then you go forward.
Of course,
so it's part of life.
A very good example from our club is Chandika Haturusinghe, who was till recently coaching the New South Wales side, and now he's coaching Bangladesh national side. He never played for his school, but he came to us as a, I think, 15-year-old or
15 or 16-year-old boy.
And
we gave him a chance.
Yeah, we gave him a chance, and he played for Sri Lanka for many years.
Wow. So these are the stories that can really inspire anyone from any, whatever background you're from.
And another thing I'd like to specifically say about Chandika is that he hardly spoke a word of English, but he made a conscious effort to improve on that, to the extent that he actually is now telling Australians in Australian what they've got to do. So, I think that's a real success story from our club that I can talk about.
Yeah, and I'm sure, Mr. Shafter, you've also seen many success stories like this of boys who come from maybe unassuming places, and they've pulled themselves up and really gone to great distances.
Yes, we have quite a few boys who came from mainly from the southern province, who I think we gave them the opportunity to play in Colombo, because if you don't play in Colombo, no one takes any notice of you, so you have to come into Colombo and play. And so we give them that opportunity. I think Suranga Lakmal was a good example, and there are quite a few others whom we have on a regular basis sponsored, looked after, and given them that opportunity.
Oh, so that's great. But I think when we speak about where they come from, which is schools cricket, now that's a whole other topic that we can speak about. And when we talk, it's quite competitive now, isn't it, when it comes to school level cricket in Sri Lanka?
Yes, I think virtually every school has not one, but some of them have 6, 7 cricket teams at various,
6 or 7?
at various age levels.
Yes. Okay.
So yes, there's a lot of cricket being played. Quality-wise, I don't know, but I think Mr. Shafter will probably tell you that at the time he used to play, the quality was probably a little higher.
Do you feel that, Mr. Shafter?
In school cricket, I think it was.
Okay.
But of course, much fewer schools played cricket. Now you have about 100, I think. At that time, maybe 15, 20 really played regular cricket in the way we know it. And the standards are very high.
And is it a matter of coaching as well, to get the right coaches in place, to get the right infrastructure?
That too is very important, because it's a coach who molds the player and makes him what he is. So you must have a good coach, or at least somebody who can coach you and guide you.
And I think, Mr. Shafter, now you're someone who really champions the fact that sports is very important to make a well-rounded individual. And you've even written some articles, I read 1 or 2, to that fact. So maybe you can tell on the show as well about how important it is, and what are the things that someone develops when they participate in sports as well as academics.
So I always say that sports is very important, and particularly cricket is unique in that it teaches you so much if you really want to learn from it and get into the spirit of the game. If you do not want to do that, of course you go the other way. But it teaches you team spirit. It teaches you, for instance, to learn to sacrifice your wicket for your partner, to obey your captain, to do your best for your side, to rejoice in the success of your fellow players, to support them when you are in the field in every possible way. All these you learn in the game of cricket, which I think you don't really learn in many other games. And I think to that extent cricket is unique.
Of course, and also there is a spillover, isn't it, for later on in life as well?
Have you seen the lessons you carry with you to later life? I mean, that is why it is important, because you learn these lessons as a young boy, then you carry them with you later life.
And the discipline it takes to be an athlete. Now you can't eat whenever you want, and there are certain times you have to sleep, certain times you have to get up. So I'm sure that this is also very important, and maybe some students don't take discipline very seriously.
Yes, well, we have a fairly decent coaching setup. Roy Das, who was our vice captain and former national coach, is our head coach. We have got Malinga Surapullige, who is a first-class cricketer who's been playing with us for quite a few years as his assistant, and he's also a qualified level 2 English coach. So these guys generally they are up to date with most of the latest techniques, diets and whatever.
Yes.
So we try to insist that the the boys sort of follow that type of regimen. However, that doesn't necessarily mean we can police every single one of them. But we tell them what it takes, and I think the fact that there are so many national players in our club makes it easy for the younger fellows to go and ask them and get mentored by them as to what they have to do to get up to that next level. And one of them, if it is diet, sometimes it's fitness. A lot of college kids, for instance, don't have the fitness levels that are required at the senior level. So we do concentrate a lot on getting the fitness sorted out, because playing 3 days is no small joke.
Of course.
And going back to the values of cricket, I think one of the differences between cricket and any other sport is simply that you spend much more time with your teammates on the ground, whereas any other sport it's 1 hour, 1.5 hours.
Yeah, that's very
so I think as a result of that, your camaraderie probably is a little stronger.
Equally long time with them in one room, in the dressing room.
So it's a different type of sport totally to anything else.
And not that everyone would come from the same sort of school of thinking or opinions. Exactly. To learn to
live with others, understand them better. So all that is what cricket gives you.
Now we have a boy called Tulina Taranga. He actually, we call him the tsunami orphan. He lost both his parents on 2 different occasions. One was in the tsunami and one was a couple of years later, the other parent. He was taken over by Mr. Kushil Gunasekara, who is also a former cricketer of ours and who now runs what is known as the Foundation of Goodness, which is a well-known NGO type, charity type organization based in Sinigama and now also in Mankulam in the north. And so Pulima was sent to us as a very, very young boy. He went on to play Sri Lanka under-19 cricket, and he is now a vital member of our first 11 cricket team. And he's still under 23. He's actually, I think, 21 unless I'm mistaken, and he's captaining our under 23 team this year as well. So I mean, there again, that's the sort of thing that we have done to nurture kids from all over.
And because they've been given the right platform, they've really been able to give back to their country, of course, and that's an amazing thing. So a lot of good things happening in the field of cricket done by the Tamil Union Cricket Club. We'll be going back into more details as well. Right now we're going for a very short break. Stay with us on Good Morning Sri Lanka.